see the table gives you, again, specific. What time did I start, Catherine? Okay.
Well, there's one thing that you will, speaking of turning it on and off, as you found out over lunch, I am not a on-stage person all the time. Not that I think that's bad. They're professionals who have to be on the stage all the time, enunciate and articulate to absolute perfection. And I am a Southern boy, and I don't like to be on stage all the time, but I will, when I get before a microphone to do a voiceover, I try to give it as professional as I can. But when I'm talking in conversation, a lot of times I like to be like the normal Southern boy that I am.
So you feel that you have a repertoire of, maybe not dialects, but a repertoire of pronunciations that you...
No, Professor, you are the expert. When I told my wife about this, she said, well, she is my greatest. She thinks I was born and exercised the greatest voice on the human earth. And I say, well, Josephine, I do have a little Southern in my voice. And I hope, I think as I told you one time, I hope, although my career is ended, I have never tried to get rid of that Southern that I do have, because I love the Southern speech. I love the corniest, down home, y'all come Southern speech. I think is absolutely precious. But I have never considered that R, we Southerners, that R is never. Or as John Kennedy said, Cuba, say Yankees have trouble with R's also. That Rush Limbaugh takes off on all the time. But
I've gotten the hook, it looks like. Stop. So I'm sorry I can't play more of this interesting interview, but again, to close, can I at least read my conclusion real quick? Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed exploring these speakers, especially Mr. Pitchman, or at least beginning an exploration with me, and have a better understanding of the difficulties some face in trying to change a dialect, even its most salient features, or their complete disregard and lack of interest in doing so, even though they're on a national level. When looking at the linguistic individual, I believe we must recognize as well the neuro-linguistic individual who resides in his or her synapses, or in the case of Mr. Pitchman, you can't teach an old dog new tracks. We must also recognize the idiosocial individual, that is the socially conditioned and constructed self that runs on autopilot, as it were, often beyond the linguistic individual's ken or ability to monitor. These submerged two, the neuro-linguistic and the idiosocial individual, may often conspire to cause the linguistic individual doing his or her best to fit into another code system to perceive a listener's reaction of, "Thy speech betrays thee."
We have time for a few questions, comments, in which case you could ask him to play more, if you like.
I was wondering if you could sum up very quickly the full explanation of monophthongization. It's on the last page of the handout, I believe, under 3F from the interview. If you could maybe tell us what that is.
If I could get to his, if we had a minute, I'd play a little bit more. You want me to play more? Okay.
we have, I know I have some Southern, and I hope I always keep it.
Let me just let you hear it.
Do dress it up a little bit when you put the red light goes on and the microphone goes on, but not to the extent of real professionalism stilted. I think that's not me.
When you notice though that you have something different, your dialect was different.
Pronounced a Southern accent, and he sounds so bad that he wants to use me as a role model for how bad audio can be, or does he actually feel I'm halfway decent? So,
The Southern, you tended to
Here's the answer to your question.
a fairly fairly strong attitude about the Southern I.
Oh yeah, well,
But
that
what
was,
part of yours that you,
that was,
what you might think overcame or changed also the I sound?
yeah, pretty much would have to halfway succeed as an A announcement. But Southern, as you know, Southern is a lazy speech, and this is my interpretation. The R is Southern's nightmare, as is I, because when you say sloppy, Southern speech is to say I. It takes a lot more. There's that bass again. We're going to be attacked by that.
He's going to be big by the
Yeah,
time.
well, you finished that.
He's gotten two.
But Southerners will say I. It takes so much effort to do your tongue around your mouth and to get away from saying I when you say I. It takes longer. I. Or Southerner will say I. I want a piece of ice. And it's much harder to say I want a piece of ice. Ice. You got to form everything. It takes longer to say. But there's a world difference in ice and ice.